This episode is brought to you by Temptations Cat Treats. Your cat will come running for the perfectly irresistible Temptations Creamy Puree and Temptations Lickable Spoon Cat Treats. The best time to feed lickable cat treats to your cat is anytime. Feed by hand for a playful moment, in a bowl for a creamy treat, or as a topper to make mealtime fun. Visit TemptationsTreats.com to learn more.
Where to begin with Brian Kilmeade, not only the hardest working man in show business since James Brown died, but a guy that is on the air more hours than I'm awake. Television, radio, and when I say radio, it's not just his own show. He's going on all sorts of shows like this around the country. He's writing books. He's doing a show on the weekend, co-anchor of Fox and Friends, host of One Nation on Saturday nights, and the host of one of the most listened to nationally syndicated radio shows in the country. Brian, it's a treat to have you as always.
What's going on, Frank? You're pumped up today.
I am. There's a lot going on. They made it a little too cold in here, so that kind of makes you a little bit more pumped up when it's this cold. But I am fascinated that this story regarding USAID and Politico. The fact that a major media outlet that's been covering politics, commenting on politics, including government shutdowns, including budget cuts, that they've never disclosed that they're the recipients of this USAID money and that we've heard nothing but crickets from them in the last 24 hours. I find this whole thing remarkable.
The most exciting thing going on right now, no offense, President Trump, is what Elon Musk and his team are doing with their federal government. And what people should know is I don't care if you voted for Donald Trump. It has nothing to do with it. Why would you be upset if someone's investigating fraud and abuse? And if you don't think it's fraud and abuse, he'll list it for you. And then you make the call if it's not fraud. Is this what you want happening with your taxpayer dollars? So let me see. We are on average, $2 trillion over debt every year. So whatever we earn, which is record amounts, $4.5 trillion, we're $2 trillion over. And we just keep doing that. And then what happens is the interest rates go up. So the debt that we have is growing exponentially. So you have the richest, most successful man in the world who not only is inventive, but he's a cost cutter and he's about efficiency. He volunteered on X live with candidate Trump. He goes, if you win, I'd like to be head of government efficiency. And Trump said, really? Are you sure? Next day, he's like, when I made that proposal, it's for real. So he's got his engineers in there, and they're exposing all these things. For example, we're saving $1 billion a day because he's already found double payments, ghost payments, buildings that don't exist that we're still paying for, or empty buildings that are out there. And then he finds out when a USAID, he goes in there and people start going insane. What's going on here? Well, if you're not going to let me in, you're fired. They fire the top people. And they go in there, or they put them on hold. They lock out all the computers and say, what the hell's happening? Then Joni Ernst walked up and said, 2 years ago, I'm a sitting senator. I walked in there and I say, can I see some of your contracts? I travel the globe and I'm getting these reports from these angry leaders saying that we're financing these culturally unacceptable projects that America likes. So he said, can I see your contracts? They said no. And they blasted her. Like, don't even ask us for this again. So let me ask you, what don't the American people want to know? Why would you scream on the steps of the Capitol building? Because you want to make sure there's EVs for Vietnam. You have $6 million for Egyptian tourism, $15 million for condoms to the Taliban. Are you happy about that? Is that pro-Democrat? Is that what was going to get Kamala Harris elected?
Well, Brian, I think if we're being
1.9 million.
If we're being fair, I think those condoms were going to Hamas, not the Taliban. I mean, let's call it like it is.
Actually listed with the Taliban.
I'm just kidding.
Believe me, this I know, but I didn't know this either, because Hamas is denying that they're getting these condoms, but the Taliban isn't.
What about the media aspect of this? Having a media organization that's on the receiving end of taxpayer money like this without disclosing this while they're covering where the tax money is going?
I think it's huge. I just do. Politico, they lean left, but I still like them.
Yeah, I like them. I read them every day.
Do I want the federal government subsidizing? What are you talking about? You're subsidizing You're subsidizing Politico? So let me ask you something. If it comes down to it, this election is too close to call. One guy will blow this story up, and the other one will add more money. Are you more likely to put columnists for column A, pro-Politico payment, or column B, will expose it and it'll end it? So that's why this is why it all goes together. And then I see that this morning, Sean Duffy says, I just got off the phone with Elon Musk. He is going to, he says, talk to the Doge team. They're going to plug in to help upgrade our aviation system immediately. And then Musk said, with the support of Trump, the Doge team will aim to rapidly safety upgrades to the air traffic control system. He already put every federal worker on an email. He told them, guys, we got too many people here. Here's a 6-month exit plan. 20,000 took it. Our government is too heavy. We should all be cheering this. I don't get it.
The #1 selling product of its kind with over 20 years of research and innovation. Botox Cosmetic, onabotulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
Lights, camera, innovation. Walt Disney Studios chose advanced 5G solutions from T-Mobile for Business to transform the movie-making process. Together, we kept a remote production hub in Hawaii and sync with a team in California to bring Lilo and Stitch to theaters this summer. This is picture-perfect collaboration. This is Walt Disney Studios with T-Mobile for Business. Take your business further at T-Mobile.com/now.
You guys, I just found the most incredible Mother's Day gift. It's called Goldbelly. Goldbelly is this amazing site where you can get the most iconic foods from restaurants all across the U.S., shipped anywhere in the country for free in time for Mother's Day. We're talking cakes from Ina Garden and Martha Stewart, Magnolia Bakery's famous banana pudding, and New York bagel brunches. Make Mother's Day perfect with Goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code MOM. That's Goldbelly.com, promo code MOM.
Saturday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength Saturday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Saturday. Saturday, bring it on.
Speaking of the media, we saw this situation where the unedited video from 60 Minutes of Vice President Harris was released. I'm sure you've had an opportunity to watch it. What did you make of the unedited video versus what viewers saw?
I'm astounded. Number one, I don't know if I even trust the transcripts. So they said, here are the transcripts. That's how little trust I have. I don't know if CBS gave us the whole transcripts. But this is a woman. Remember, when Donald Trump said to 60 Minutes, I'm not doing this. And then when Leslie Stahl said there was no conspiracy and the laptop is not real. And he said, remember, this is 60 Minutes, she says to Donald Trump. And then I'm thinking about 60 Minutes asked you for an interview. Donald Trump, how dare you turn us down? Well, you are a biased organization as biased as Rachel Maddow's show. I mean, what you do is you take your credibility, you put it on the line, and you subtly change the context of an interview. I mean, I'm wondering how many other people out there have other interviews where CBS walked in with an agenda and was determined to edit that way, but felt as though they were spitting into the wind when they came forward against this legendary magazine show. So I think it's huge. I think it's a huge story. We'll play both versions. I don't know if you're doing that, playing both versions. Evidently, it's a lot of word salads from Kamala Harris that just didn't make the cut.
Brian, what about the Gaza situation? Not obviously President Trump in this event with Netanyahu, he set off quite a firestorm by saying essentially that the United States should take over Gaza and turn it into the Riviera of the Middle East, being criticized not only by Democrats but from multiple factions in the Republican Party. You have kind of three different ideologies represented by folks like Rand Paul and Lindsey Graham and the fellow from Missouri, and they all seemed critical of this. And the White House did backtrack on this a little bit yesterday. What did you make of this? Josh Hawley was the senator.
What I made of it is typical Trump. I mean, what he said is, you can't go back there, right? There's no running water. That 85% of the buildings have been destroyed. So he goes, we'll fix it, but don't go back. Why don't you go live in some other country? It's a overview of let's not pretend that this is what the underlying story is. The prime minister told me, and I agree, you cannot let the Hamas run that region. They will do it again. They told you they will do October 7th again. So what are you going to do? Well, Israel's going back in there. So what about the civilians? Well, let's get them out of there. Well, yeah, tell them to go. Hey, Egypt, King Abdullah of Jordan's coming next week. Hey, go take some of them. So it's just very simple. I'm not going to go call up a think tank and say, give me the 5 scenarios. I'm going to say, why would you go back to a ruined land? We'll pool some Arab money together. We'll get some engineers. We'll rebuild the place, and we'll bring everybody back and make it more of a cosmopolitan area. Now, it's not practical, but you know what they're doing? They're overall talking today, me and you, big stations, small stations, newspapers, and saying, why did he say that? And what's the underlying? Palestinians cannot be ruled by Hamas again. And what's going on? They have pledged to hit him again. And what about the two-state solution? Neither state wants it. So Trump is saying, why don't we just get him out, clean it up, and why don't you guys live a great life with somebody else because it's not going to work. But fundamentally, he's got Trump talking about another plan. If you don't like Trump's plan, obviously you're not shy about speaking up about it. So come up with your own, because Gaza and the West Bank becoming a Palestinian state is now a non-starter.
Brian Kilmeade, we're going into the kind of the home stretch of the Trump nominees. Last week at this time, it was looking pretty bleak for Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. Looking much better at this point. If you're making a prediction, do you think both of them get confirmed?
Yes, they're through committee. They're going through. They're through committee. They're going through. Ladies and gentlemen, the only one who looks like he's going to pay the price is Matt Gaetz, and they're trying to filibuster or the OMB director, Russ Vought. Forget it. He's going to get through. Stay up all night if you want. Hold your breath. Sit in the corner. Democrats, you have no choice. He's going to be the OMD director. So that is through. What they're going to do with the others, the ambassadors in Russia and Israel, which are so valuable, they're holding them up. The undersecretaries, they're holding them up. So don't lose interest now that the high-profile men and women got through. But this is going to be exciting. Now, RFK can't do everything he wants, but, man, if he could start straightening out on nutritional guidelines, if he could start talking about food in schools and with and food stamps, stop giving these people poison junk food that are already having enough challenges in their life, I love it. And finding a way to get affordable Whole Foods-like quality into average supermarkets, especially in urban areas, maybe that are working class, I love it. And to make someone just say, okay, this vaccine, the last time it was studied is 1971. Can I see the study? Can we get another? Nobody's against that. So I'm excited about an HHS secretary, and I think Tulsi Gabbard will emerge as extremely competent. I'm convinced of it. Many people aren't. I'm not one of the doubters.
It's going to be very interesting. Brian, it's always a treat to talk with you. Can you give us a preview of what the Super Bowl Eve edition of One Nation will be like on Saturday?
I'm probably going to go to Sage Steele, who's in New Orleans, but I'm not doing a ton of football, a little counter-programming. Okay. I think our people like sports, but they flipped ESPN for it. And I think I got Anthony Robbins going to lift us up, talk about our national psyche and also rebuilding Los Angeles. We have Danica Patrick, who's going to be with us, too. And we're working on a few other names. Maybe Dave McCormick might be my lead guest. and Adam Carolla. So that's what we're working on. We'll probably hammer it out today, but hopefully everyone will watch Saturday at 9.
Outstanding. Thank you, Brian.